Because I think I'm recording this part separately and then putting it both in the tefilah category and in the Rambam Bekius category because I don't know where it goes. So on Tuesday, I had a tefilah shiur and I introduced a possible approach to Re'ev Anyenu. Did you get that far?
I don't think so.
Okay. So it was Re'ev Anyenu, same shot until we overturn everything this week, is that it's about personal suffering. Because it's not about Goel Yisrael in the sense of Gula Hasida, because that's kibbutz galuyos and all the other stuff. So you're asking God to see your suffering, and so the light bulb moment was like that. In order for you to heal from your own suffering, you have to see it and accept it. And I found myself when I was saying the tefilah, realizing, oh, if you're asking God to see your suffering, whatever that means, like obviously that's a whole nother like can of worms, but whatever it means, you obviously have to be able to confront and feel and experience your own suffering if you ever want to be redeemed from that. I don't see how it's possible otherwise, you know? So like that opened up an avenue of thought, and like you could listen to that shiur if you're interested in that. So then today I was davening and I was at Salach Lanu, and it hit me like a sack of sand in the head that we've been talking about Hilchos Deios and the Halacha B'drachav, about like how the only reason God is described as having these mitzvot, well, not the only reason, the main reason why God is described in human terms is so that you can emulate him in terms of the mitzvah of the Halacha B'drachav. And like the one who the Hashgacha relates to is the one who's practicing all those mitzvos, you know? So I was at the Slach Lanu, and I had this thought, but I had it in a cheesy way. And remember we were talking earlier in the year about like, oh, forget it. We're not going to refer back to that. But I had this in a cheesy way, and then I realized like, how can you, whatever sleep on the tefilah mean, and I'm not going into that right now because that's a whole Yom Noraim Sugya, you know, which like the answer changes every year. But like whatever sleep on the tefilah mean, on the one hand, there is this feeling that like we are not deserving of it, which is why we have to ask for it, like as a matnas chinam. But if you actually believe that you're not worthy of it, so then why are you asking for it? Like the whole premise of you asking for it, the stream might not be worthy of it in Midas Hadin framework, but the whole reason why you're asking for it is because you do believe that it could be granted to you. And in the same way that, and then the halachta b'drachav hit me, and like the idea of exercising slicha and mechila on other people, in the sense, especially the way that the Rambam ended off Perek Hamishi last week, when he was talking about the Talmid Chacham should be, you know, a type of person who's insulted and doesn't insult back, and like persecuted but not persecute others, and like, you know, and people could be mockbeat on him, but he can't be mockbeat on them. Being willing to behave and live those midos of Kadosh Baruch Hu with other people, and you are another person. In other words, you are a person who should be like forgiven and pardoned and like the recipient and worthy of rachamim, you know, and something like what click of the, in order to actually ask God for slicha and mechila on yourself, then you have to have those feelings about yourself. That's the thing that I only previously registered as a cheesy statement, but I think it's actually a more real statement now, meaning that you are a human being and like you make mistakes and you engage in hate and all this other stuff. And like, if you truly believe that you're not worthy of kapara, then might as well just go and like, you know, like not go to Yom Kippur, you know, like what's the whole premise. And you have to be practicing those same midos for other people. And that's when the Hilchos Deios tefilah like intersection blew up, which is how many of the other things that we say in Shemona Esrei are describing midos of Kadosh Baruch Hu that we really should be enacting with other people. Like, let's say like shalom, you know, at the end, like it's very, very easy just to ask God for peace. But then if you are not ohev shalom and rodef shalom, then what are you doing, you know? And if you aren't like striving to attain peace in your own life, then what are you like? I don't know. It was one of these like scary thoughts. I ended off here, I think, saying that tefilah should be an extremely painful experience, and if it's not, then you're not doing it right. And this was like an extremely painful realization of like how much work we need to do in order to align ourselves with Ratzon Hashem in the sense of getting the stuff we're asking for. So that was the insight.
Wait, I just missed that. I just didn't get the connection between that last point.
Oh, that tefilah should be forcing growth. and growth is painful.
Right.
So this was one of these moments, this realization I had of like how much of the onus of the halakha bidrachav is part of being nispala, and how much work there needs to be done in order to rise to the level where God relates to me in the ways that I'm asking for in tefilah.
And that only happens when you are doing those things. Like,
Yeah, I'm not going to make absolute statements like it only happens when
Yeah.
that, you know, but like that's how it's going to happen. Like,
Mhm.
you know, like how can you expect if you're a petty person who's not willing to forgive human error, like
Right.
how can you expect God to forgive you? And I'm not asking it from a like, oh, God's gonna like, you know, be careful how you word the word same to the genie because he's not gonna, you know, it's gonna, you know. I mean, like you, if you really are not forgiving for other people, and you expect forgiveness for yourself, it's got to be an immature idea of forgiveness because you're not actually realizing like the human tendency to make mistakes, you know.
Right.
And what's the easiest way to do that? I mean, you could do it with other people, but like with yourself also, like you're the one who you know the best. And like, I don't know, something opened up. So this is just, I want to, since it happened this morning, I just wanted to like talk it out in its initial stages, and then we'll see where it goes later on. But yeah, so I just that's that. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna just stop the recording here. And